This is my boat shed in Arctic Finland. I am building this, a 15-meter liveaboard cruising sailboat from scratch, using 3D modeling, CNC cutting and wood epoxy construction. And my name is Panu. Welcome! In previous video we got all these pieces laid here on the floor, and now we're gonna continue by starting to attach it to the floor, leveling it down and kind of making sure that everything is all right before we start attaching additional pieces here. I think I'm gonna start with putting a string to the midline here in the boat and make sure that the midline is actually straight. I did put this string on the floor a while ago, but now it's underneath all the pieces, so I need to get it out from there and put it above here. So there is a marking for the midline, and I have marked all these actual boat pieces as well, so we should have pretty good markings where the midline should be, and with string tensioned we can check that this whole thing is really straight. Okay, now I'm gonna go the other side and pull it through. Okay. This hole right there should be in the middle. We put it right there and then go to the other end and make sure that it's there on its position. We should have a straight line. There is a marking. Now it's on the right position, and now we can check the markings in between. Looks pretty okay. I think tiny bit on the right. Yeah, definitely bit right here in the middle. Here as well. There's also a little bit of a dip in the middle, so the string is actually on the air. Let's check this end. Oh, it's not really in right position here. Let's move this. Now it's better. One thing I need to add is a little bit spacer here so that I get it off from the plywood so it doesn't have contact with the plywood here in the middle, so the string will be completely straight. But I think it's within a millimeter, I would say. Millimeter or two, so very straight. You have to remember this is 50 meters long. There is no way I can really have the accuracy of 1 millimeter over 15 meters, so that is kind of insane. Okay, this thing is pretty much the same that I tested, but this one has a chimney. So this shouldn't bring all the exhaust inside. I didn't order the chimney pipes at the same time because I need to figure out where I want to install this and how. Something like that. This should be plenty enough for heating this place. I also considered putting a simple electric heater in here, but that thing is 20 kilowatts, and 20 kilowatts with electric heater is pretty much. I just calculated quickly that all the electric power that I am getting here, it has 3 phases, each one has 22 amps. That would bring 22 kilowatts of power all together in this place. So that would be almost all the power that I can bring, even in theoretically. And yeah, there is actually not such a heater available even, and the high-end electric heaters were very expensive as well. So yeah, this is the most affordable thing to buy, and the price for a diesel compared to electricity, it's roughly on the same hood here in Finland at least. Price of electricity of course varies day by day quite a lot, so when it's really expensive this is probably a little bit cheaper, but most of the time electricity would be a little bit cheaper than this. I think the amounts of heat that I need, it really doesn't matter that much. So yeah, we're going with this one. Alright, I put a little bit of a spacer underneath the string, and now I can see how straight this thing is. It's almost perfect. There's slight variation here on the bow area, so I need to move this a little bit, but I'm not gonna do that yet. Now I'm gonna start leveling the foundations and attach them to the floor so that they don't move anymore, and after that I can straighten the actual boat shape and attach them to these foundation pieces as well. So that should do the trick for the slight variation in there. Alright, as mentioned in a few videos back, this is my method for leveling these foundations. I have this thick piece of plywood that is completely straight, and there is another block attached to that. And when I put it here like so, you can maybe see there is a line of laser right in there. And I'm gonna go to the starting position and mark the level there. And then I'm putting this on all the foundation pieces and adjusting them to that same marker. So then they should be all at the same level, of course. We'll see how this goes. So this piece is the starting position. It is the highest point on the floor. So these are adjusted so that they slightly go through. And I actually did this a long time ago already, but now I'm gonna just recheck that and start from here, leveling everything else. Here we go. Now there is a line here, and now we're just gonna move this around. This is actually much easier than I expected. I have done maybe 15 minutes and all of these 6-7 pieces are on the same level now. Within a millimeter, I would say. It's pretty accurate to just look at the laser level and match it to that pen mark over there. So yeah, it's pretty easy, and the result is plenty good for me. If I remember right, there is 220 of these bolts to adjust, and now these are all done. I mark them with some OK signs, so I know that they are OK, they shouldn't move anymore. Let's do the rest now. Alright, I got the initial leveling done last night. The camera battery died, so I couldn't explain anything, but there was 2 slight issues. Here in the middle, there is a high spot that was a little bit higher than the initial place where I started the leveling. And there at the very bow, there is a low spot that is lower than where my bolts can be driven to. So my bolts are, I think this is 50 millimeter, but today I got these bolts, which are longer, and I'm gonna change these there to the front so that I can get that initially in same level. Then I probably have to raise everything just a tiny bit to get rid of that high spot right there in the middle. But the initial leveling is now done. It went quite smoothly. It was much easier than I expected actually. And this system works flawlessly. So yeah, very pleased with the result. Now let's change these bolts back there and front there and continue this thing. And I hope my laser level is still on the same spot. I need to check that first, of course. Looks right. Right here is a spot where these bolts are completely loose. They are not touching the floor yet. And if I put this in here, it shows that I should bring this down about millimeter or two right in here. So this board is actually on the floor. So I need to raise everything at least 3 to 5 millimeters to get rid of this place. And here in the front, the bolts are all the way in, but if we check this, it's still maybe 5 millimeters too low. So that's why I need to put these longer bolts here. And just like that, it should be pretty close what it needs to be. Okay, now the initial leveling is completely done. I got the front end there leveled to this same height, only that high spot is remaining. And now I think I'll move the laser a little bit to get rid of, yeah, maybe I'll just show you. So this laser has these 4 corners here that hold the cap up. Of course, the laser beam doesn't come through that spot, so there is a kind of a blind spot in all these 4 corners, and there is a one particular spot over there where this beam doesn't reach completely, so I need to move this a little bit. So maybe I'll just put it on the side here or something. All right, second round completed. Now it is leveled to the highest spot right there, so everything is raised up by maybe up half a centimeter. Few places where I needed to change the longer bolts. Now it should be okay. I am gonna do another round of checking everything, or maybe 5 rounds eventually, but yeah, I need to check everything once in a while to make sure that nothing has moved. Looking good so far. Okay, I did a recheck with this laser, and yeah, they should be self-leveling. Now when I move it slightly, now it should be in level. But let's go this way. So I did leveling with this tool. All the places were with this black line here. Now it's obviously in different level. So now I put this in here. You can see it's right below the line here in the bow. Then let's go to the stern. Let's place this thing in here. It should be exactly in the same level. And now you can see it's about maybe even 1 centimeter lower. So this is actually 1 centimeter higher. Except, I don't know which is true, because that laser level it is not showing the right plane. When I turn it around, the plane kind of goes something like this. Of course, it is a plane. It should be completely straight plane, so this is straight, but it's not leveled completely straight. So I don't know. Here in the middle of the bolt, it's 1 centimeter lower, and here on the other side of the what? Okay, now I'm confused. How is this even possible? Because I am 100% sure that when I did this second leveling, I went it all through and I did a check around afterwards so that it was just on that line. What? There. Okay, I need to sit down a while. How is this even possible? I would understand if it was the plane was kind of in some direction lower or higher, but this doesn't make any sense. Anyway, I'm getting feeling that I cannot trust this laser. It wasn't the most expensive one, but it wasn't cheap either, so if this is true, I am very, very disappointed with that. 1 centimeter variant over this area it's way too much. If it's a couple of millimeters, I wouldn't care, but this is just too much. Well, that is a bummer. I need to figure that out and ask if someone has another one of these, and I will check with that again, this whole thing. It is not a very big job, but it takes maybe an hour or something to go through all the bolts. Now they are very close to the right spot. Adjustment needed there is not very big, but still I want to make it right before I start putting anything here. So that is a really annoying thing. I'll try to move this around and check it a couple of times here. This really ruined my day. Alright, I changed the stand with the one that came with that thing and moved it around here and did some testing. There had to be something wrong with my setup that I showed you. It's not, it had to be kind of crooked some way. I don't know what happened there. But anyway, now when I test this and move it around and kind of figure out, it's within a couple of millimeters, I would say. So it's better, but this kind of still ruined my trust with that thing. Not fun. But anyway, I'm quite sure that this whole thing is now pretty much in level, so close that I can probably start putting these down to the floor. And as mentioned, I have these bolts. I can always adjust them a little bit if needed. So I'm probably gonna build some kind of a test stick thing a little bit higher that thing I used, so that I can put the laser somewhere in the eye level, closer to the eye level, and kind of go and grab measurements when needed. So yeah, that might be a good idea. And of course, eventually I have to mark the water line somewhere here. Probably I'm gonna do some kind of fixture there on the wall or somewhere where the water line is marked on the wall. So, but I think that's it for this evening, and we'll continue tomorrow by doing something. Okay, now all the pieces are cut out from the plywood sheets and cleaned up. There was 3 pieces for the first layer still on those. This last one had actually a bit of a flaw in the plywood. Not really good quality. I'll make it work, it's alright. Rest of them are there on the shelf. What else? What else? What else? Yeah, of course, all the spare time is needed to put on these frames, so I need to start cleaning them up one by one. And pretty soon I actually need to start gluing these first layers here, so that will be exciting. And now the first layer is actually completely complete. Alright, third time the charm. Now I have done 3 separate leveling sessions and now it's so close what it should be that I think I'm fine with that. Next, I'm gonna attach these foundation pieces to the floor and check one more time after that. Bolts will be adjustable, so if there is some kind of a misalignment or something, I can loosen it up and level it again. So no worries there. These foundation pieces are plywood, they are thick, but they're still plywood, so some of them are a little bit crooked, but I think I can compensate that by putting those bolts or screws down to really keep them on their places. So yeah, let's grab the drill now. And just like that, the foundations are attached to the floor. They don't move anymore. And yeah, they are so precisely and close to level that I can ever get them. So I'm really pleased. And the sound you can probably hear from the outside is my father-in-law. He came to help and weld those CNC machine legs into shelving for me. That is absolutely amazing. The next step is to start attaching these pieces to the foundations for good. I'm gonna start with the middle line. There is this string. I'm gonna tension it so that it is completely straight. It is detached from the surface. Then I'm gonna screw the middle line to those foundation pieces. And then the middle line should stay right where it is. Then I'm gonna kind of measure somehow, I don't know yet how, these sides and make sure that they are square to the center line so that there's no kind of any imperfections of the shape. There really shouldn't be. The joints with the CNC cut pieces are very precise and I don't think there's no issues whatsoever, but I'm gonna check it maybe with the laser thing and yeah, make sure that everything is nice and square. And after that, we are ready to start gluing the first pieces. Oh, that will be exciting, but let's not get ahead ourselves. I made this small little piece. It was a round stick that I made one side flat, and then there's this little notch in there. And this goes here like that. And now we get to the other side. I decided to move the string to the side where are these CNC cut slots, and they are much easier to line the string with. Here in the stern the string is absolutely on its place, but when we start walking towards the midship, you can see that the placement starts to vary a little bit. I think there is around 1 to 1.5 millimeter variance in the middle here. So we need to move that middle line just slightly here in the middle to make it absolutely straight. Alright, now it is screwed on its place here in the midline, and I think it's now as straight as I ever going to be able to get it. I can't see any variation whatsoever. Very pleased with the result. Now I'm gonna grab the laser again and make sure that these perpendicular pieces are actually in 90 degrees to the center line. So they should be, but I want to check that before I fix them. And actually I don't have the correct type of screws to really fasten this right now, so I need to get those screws tomorrow. But yeah, very pleased. So excited actually. I kind of don't know how I should be kind of jumping around here. Actually need this camera mount to put the laser in here. Okay, here is the laser. Now it's beaming straight down, doing this crosshair, and this is now aligned with these holes, like so. And then the other half of the crosshair goes across here on the edge of these plywood pieces. And it is just, yeah, it couldn't be any better than this. So I am pretty sure that the shape of this boat is as good as I ever going to get it. I have to say, I am quite pleased. The CNC makes this job so easy. So accurate. Yeah. I would say this is perfect. Perfect. Just that I said that it is perfect. I checked it out in a couple of more spots. Here in the front, you can maybe see that this line is slightly over this edge. 2 millimeters, 1.5 misalignment here. On the other side, it is pretty much spot on. And same kind of thing was back there. This side was perfect, but this side was a tiny bit over there, so kind of crooked in this way. That is interesting because on the middle it was really spot on, but there it's slightly over there, and here it is slightly like this. But we are still talking about a couple of millimeters over 15-meter boat, so I really can't be that concerned about that. When I ever do anything by hand here, it is going to be more inaccurate than these are. So yeah, maybe I just don't care about those. We'll see. I'm gonna dry fit the next layer of pieces here and see how they fit there. So then we will be wiser if we need to do something about this. Maybe I could actually get them and dry fit them right now. Okay, here we have the next pieces on their places, roughly. I didn't put the joints in yet, of course, but yeah, they seem to fit perfectly well. There is these holes, alignment holes here that corresponds holes on the bottom side, so I will put a wooden double in all of these, so they should be right where they need to be. And of course these slots here are for the frame ends to go in eventually. But here you can see the gap here, which is for the side bulwark walls. This will be filled with those plywood pieces quite soon actually. What I'm thinking now that this would be probably enough for this video. In next video we're probably gonna glue these down, prepare the molds here in the middle and cut some things with the CNC again. Before that though, I need to of course attach all of these to these foundations for good. I need to get better screws for that. From now on the boat is starting to raise from the floor, which is so freaking exciting. I don't really know how I should be in here, so I'm just thrilled with this. Everything seems to align so well, and yeah, I got the foundation leveled so well, and I think my system overall works very well. I can't see any major flaws with this, at least not yet. But yeah, feel free to leave a comment down below, give me a like of course, and if you want to support this project, please go and check out the Patreon page. There was at least 3 new Patreons in the previous video already, so thank you so much, and we will see you in the next video. Bye bye!